resuscitation, what does that mean? Restart, revive, right? Now, based on what you guys just said, can you guys hazard a guess? Can we only perform CPR on someone who's dying, which means they're still alive, on the way to being dead, or only someone who's dead?
No.
Or both? Who says A? Only when they're dying, then can we perform CPR to save them? Show of hands. Don't be shy, there's no right or wrong answer, well there is, but... anyone, no one? Who says only when they're dead, then can we do CPR on them? No one. Okay? Who says both? Whether they're dying or dead, as long as they're on the floor, you do CPR. Both, right? Now that's a common misconception, okay? In fact, a lot of people believe that only when they're dying, so they have not died yet, then you do CPR. It's false. If you perform CPR on someone who's still alive, whose heart and lungs are still functioning, what's going to happen? The rhythm you introduce into their heart will actually stop the heart. So in other words, you're killing the person. So we need to perform our CPR properly, and there's a few steps to follow. There are our 6 steps. Very easy. I'll introduce them to you later on. Now, before I move on to the 6 steps, let me share with you some statistics in Singapore. Now, in Singapore, okay, it's been proven, 86% of all sudden cardiac arrest case happens in our hospital environment, so not in the hospital. Chances are it's going to be at home. So if you do come across someone who requires CPR, you like to, or rather you want to know how to perform CPR. When I was much younger, my grandma actually had a sudden cardiac arrest and no one in the family knew how to perform CPR. And unfortunately on that very day, she actually passed away. Okay, so you do not want that to happen. Every single life is precious and all of them can be saved very easily with CPR. Now CPR as well, for every passing minute, okay, you do not perform CPR on the casualty who's unconscious. His or her chance of survival will decrease by about 8 to 10% every passing minute. So it's very important the moment you see someone's unconscious, initiate the 6 steps, and if they're suitable for CPR, immediately perform it. Okay, so those are the 2 interesting facts I'd like to share with you guys. Other than that, CPR is very simple. 6 steps. Anyone know what's the 6 steps? What are the 6 alphabets we're going to be talking about? Okay, I hear some whispers, okay? It's acronymed as DRS ABC. If you cannot remember that, think about your doctor's ABC. Okay, easy, right? Can everybody say it with me? Doctor's ABC.
Doctor's ABC.
Very good. Now what does D stand for? Any guesses? Danger, exactly. Now before you want to save anyone, it is very important that you check the surrounding areas for any form of danger. You do not want to be trying to save someone's life and then the car come by and knock the 2 of you out. And then when the ambulance arrives, instead of being just to save 1 life, you have to save 2. So check the surrounding areas for any form of danger. If there are any small little dangers like glass shards or exposed needles, just sweep them to the side and then carry on. But if you're in a dangerous environment like on a road with heavy traffic, what should you do?
Carry forward.
You either move the casualty away, which is not recommended, or you get a car to stop. You know in Singapore everybody is a busybody. When there's an accident, usually there's a long pile-up. It's all because everybody's slowly driving by the accident scene trying to see what's going on. Okay, so get one of the cars to stop to prevent you from getting run over by any vehicle, to create a pocket. Okay, and you can perform CPR then. So that's the first step, D. Now what's the next alphabet? What does it represent? R. What does it want? Response, exactly. How do you check for response? I've taught at a lot of different places, okay? I saw one of your colleagues saying do this. Okay, you do not want to go to a casualty and say, sir, wake up. Okay, you don't want to do this, okay? If you do this, you get caught on storm, the next day you'll be famous. Okay, so you don't want that to happen. Now, some kids like to tell me, oh, how about we do the nipple cripple? Pinch the nipples and twist it. Okay? You don't want that as well, okay? Some people then ask me, why is it important that we check for response? My answer is this, because not everybody lying on the floor requires CPR. I live in a HDB estate and there's a construction site nearby. Chances are after lunch, if I go home, I'm going to see a lot of people lying on the void deck. It doesn't mean that you immediately go up to all of them and start compressing, okay? Now when you perform compressions on a conscious casualty, it's extremely painful, so a person's going to wake up and give you 1 pec slap. You do not want that to happen. So check for response. How do you do it properly and professionally? Very simple. Usually casualties will be on the floor. Simply kneel beside the casualty. Take both your hands, firmly tap on the casualty's shoulder and loudly ask, hello sir or ma'am, are you okay? And it goes like this. Sir, are you okay? Now as you can see, I use quite a bit of force. I'm quite violent if you will, but this is necessary. Why? Some people out there are very deep sleepers. Okay, so if you approach their maternal instinct like this, sir, they are going to ignore you, okay, and they might accidentally kill them. So be loud, be firm, try and solicit a reaction. Now, 2 possible scenarios might arise after this. 1, casualty wakes up. Now if the casualty wakes up, you just need to stand up, say sorry sir, ma'am, just checking if you're okay or not, and then you run away as fast as possible. Otherwise, In Singapore, again, everybody's a busybody. See, right now we already have a few people taking out their phone. So what's going to happen? A crowd will form and everybody will whip out their mobile device and they're pointing at you. What are they doing? Recording, stopping, photos, stuff like that, or Vine, Instagram, whatever nonsense. No one is actually trying to help you. So it's very important that we remember that we need to shout for help. S, this is our third step. What do you shout for? It doesn't mean just put your hands up and say, help, help, someone help me. There are very specific things that you want to call for. Now, if there's a group of people in front of you, excellent. That's the situation you want. Identify certain members of the public and get them to perform different tasks for you. What task am I talking about? First thing, identify one person. So, sir in the blue t-shirt, can you please call ambulance 995? First thing. Secondly, sir in the white t-shirt, can you get me the nearest AED machine? Now, why do I want to get two different people to do two different things? So that it can all happen simultaneously as quickly as possible. And why do I pinpoint them out? Because in Singapore, if you go like this, someone call ambulance 995. Everybody will think the person standing beside them is calling. At the end of the day, no one will call. It has happened before. So you want to be very specific, tell certain people to do certain stuff. And if this happens and someone's videoing, point to someone, naturally the video will pan over to him. If the ambulance doesn't arrive, whose fault is it? His fault or my fault? The person's fault, right? Okay, but you're not trying to push blame, okay? I'm just trying to make him understand that this is his responsibility. Now, when you call for ambulance 995, it's very important for you to mention number 995 in Singapore because we're a tourist destination. There are a lot of tourists around. If you tell a tourist, can you please get me the ambulance? What number are they going to call? 911, 112, and the numbers goes on, okay? It doesn't work in Singapore. Even the youths in Singapore, because they've grown up watching American television, they don't even know 995 exists, they only know 911. It happens very often. So you must mention the number. And next, when you call 995, we provide two services. One is our emergency medical services, which is people like myself and my colleagues. Two, our firefighters. So it'll be like my colleagues from division, and they'll come and they'll actually extinguish fire. Now, if you were to call 995 and your phone were to run out of battery, okay, or you hang up on us, and you didn't say what help you need, what do you think will arrive first? Will the ambulance arrive first or will the fire engine arrive first? Fire engine will definitely arrive first, okay? Because fire can spread faster, and if they do not, or rather they are not sure of the situation, they do not know how our medical staff can go in, so they always come and control the situation first. And what can our firefighters do when they arrive on scene, their axe and their hose, and see someone lying on the floor? Turn on the hose, wash the person down? No, right? Now, in all reality, all of our staffs are trained with the ability to perform CPR as well as the usage of an AED machine. But they lack the advanced medical knowledge people like myself and my colleague has, and they also do not have access to the ambulance. So you want to be very specific, say you want an ambulance when you call 995 or a fire engine if you have a fire incident. Okay, so that's the first thing. Next is the AED. I'm not going to talk so much about it. Later on, my colleague Shika will come over and take over and show you guys how to use the AED machine. It's very foolproof. If you have a problem with this, we cannot help you because this is really very simple. Okay? Now, once you shouted for help, we move on to our last three steps, your A, B, and C. It's the most critical, and this is actually applied in all hospitals around the world. This is called the ABCs. This is your airway, breathing, and if you go for proper CPR course, it takes roughly about 2 to 3 days to complete, it's your circulation. But in this case, I'm going to be sharing with you guys something known as the public protocol. So this is a case where you skip certain steps, it makes it much more easier for you to perform your CPR. And let's begin. Now for A, what airway? You want to open up the casualty's airway. I'd like all of you guys to try this experiment with me. Everybody sit up straight, look up to the ceiling, okay, and take a deep breath through your nose and exhale. Okay, now look down to the floor, take a deep breath and exhale. Can you guys tell me which is easier, looking up or looking down? Looking up, right? Why is that so? Well, when you're looking forward on a day-to-day basis, your windpipe, which is the pipe-like thing in your body that allows you to receive air, is slightly bent. But we're able to breathe normally because we are conscious, our muscles are functioning, it's pulling air in and it's pushing it out. When you go unconscious, these muscles no longer function, so it's very difficult for air to enter when there's resistance. So you want to straighten it up. How do you straighten it up? You perform your head tilt chin lift maneuver. Place 4 fingers on the casualty's forehead like so, 2 fingers at the side of the jaw. And you tilt the head up like so. Okay. Now once this is done, you move on to your next step, B, to check for breathing. How do you check for breathing? Any suggestions? Okay, so a lot of you know what you're supposed to do, but some of the more interesting suggestions that I've come across is, about 2 weeks back, I had this elderly lady came up to me and said, how about we take a piece of tissue paper, open it up, put it on the person's face. When the tissue paper starts floating up and down, the person's breathing. Okay, we do not want to do that. Okay, it's not effective enough a way to determine breathing. A lot of people like to do this as well. Take their finger, they put it underneath because they watch all the olden dramas, all the physicians like to do this to check whether they're dead or not, right? Not good enough as well. There are certain types of breathing symptoms that are too minute for you to be able to detect with the finger. So what we practice is our look, listen, feel. Maintain your head tilt chin lift maneuver. Place your ears above the nose and mouth area. And you look for chest rise. Listen for breathing sounds. And you feel for warm air brushing against your cheek. These are the 3 absolute signs of breathing. So it goes like this. And you check for no more than 10 seconds. After 10 seconds, if your casualty is not breathing, they won't miraculously start breathing on the 11th second. Okay, so do not pray for it to happen. Just move on. Now, if there's no breathing, you can immediately move on to your C. Now, this case, instead of circulation, this is your CPR. Now, earlier I mentioned if you go for proper course, you'll be taught how to check for pulse. Now, nowadays, we don't advise for people who are not medically trained to check for pulse anymore. Why? Because we've come across a few incidences where people who are not trained trying to check for pulse. First and foremost, trying to find the pulse when the heart is weak, it's not as easy as you think it is. Secondly, if you do not practice often enough, you might actually end up injuring the casualty rather than saving them. You might end up causing their airway to swell and seal shut. And even when we turn up on scene, there's no way we can ventilate the casualty. So it's very important, if you do not know how to check for breathing, rather your pulse, check breathing. If there's no breathing, 90% of the time, there will be no pulse. If there is breathing, then chances are there will be pulse, and you can, based on that, whether you decide to move on or you stop. Remember, only perform your CPR when there is no breathing. Okay, so I'm going to take it as my mannequin is not breathing, obviously. Then we're going to move on to your last step, C, CPR. CPR is very simple. 2 steps to take note of. 1 is your chest compression. Next, your mouth-to-mouth ventilation. Now there's a ratio for this, it's 30:2, and you always start with your compressions first. Now with compression, you cannot just compress anywhere you like. Okay, there's a very specific place to compress on. I'd like all of you guys to try and find this location on yourself. So everybody sit up straight. Take your middle finger, please do not point it at me. Take your middle finger, look for your rib cage. Now all of our rib cage are naturally designed to be in an inverted V shape. If it is not in an inverted V shape, please let me know. I'll call the ambulance for you. So look for it. Now trace it up, all the way up to the tip where the 2 bones meet. Now if you look at the skeleton without the meat, the muscles and the skin, what you're going to realize is the bone goes like that and it goes up and it meets in the center. So this is what you're looking for. And in the center of the chest, there will be one long bone that extends downward. Now at the bottom, there's this sternum actually extends a little bit past your rib cage and it forms a small tip. This is what you're feeling right now. Medically, it's known as the xiphoid process. A lot of people have a tendency to compress here, which is not good. If you compress on this location, what's going to happen? The pressure you apply will actually fracture the bone and it will start piercing the internal organs and causing massive internal bleeding. So once you found this location, what you want to do, place your index finger above, take the heel of your free hand, so the heel of your palm, and place it right beside your index finger in the center. Okay, this is where you want to compress. I'm going to demonstrate again with my mannequin. For those who cannot see, you can feel free to stand up. So take again my middle finger, the V shape. Now no matter how obese someone is when they're lying on the floor, the fats will move to the side. You can see. Okay, not a concern. So trace the rib cage all the way to the top. Place your index finger beside, taking the heel of your palm, place it right beside your fingertips. For the gentlemen, please always ensure that your palms and your fingers are not touching the casualty. You do not want to be caught on camera doing this, okay, especially if it's a female casualty. So raise it upwards. This will also allow you to provide more effective CPR whereby you're directing all the strength to the sternum, and that way you reduce the chance of the ribcage breaking. Now because what compression is essentially you're trying to pump the heart, because it's not working, to provide the rest of the body oxygenated blood. And your heart is actually protected by a ribcage which doesn't allow any form of compression. So first and foremost, you need to use your body weight, and 30% of the time when you perform this compression, you're going to hear ribs cracking, you're going to feel it cracking. Should you stop or carry on?
Carry on.
Carry on. Okay, remember the acronym LOL. Not laugh out loud, you do not laugh at the casualties who are unconscious. This is life over limb. You want to save his or her life over his or her limb. So I rather fracture a few ribs, keep him or her alive, and send him or her to the hospital alive, rather than don't do anything, he dies, and then he has a very nice set of ribs that he cannot use. So always carry on. Now once you're in this position, remove your 2 fingers, interlock your hands. You want to lock your elbows straight and you want to lean forward, placing your shoulders directly above the casualty's chest, and you compress 30 times. Now with your compression, you want to utilize your body weight to assist, and the minimum compression depth is 5 cm, at least 5 cm. Anything less than that, you're not doing anything at all, you're just wasting your time. So at least 5 cm. It is a lot, okay? And it's very difficult. So later on, if you guys want to try how it roughly feels like with 2 mannequins set up, then you guys can come and try. And what you want to do, there's a very specific counting for your CPR, and it goes something like this. In 3, 2, 1, go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 10 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 15, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 20, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 25, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 30. So we count in sets of 5. This way you wouldn't miscount. When you hit the high numbers, it allows you to breathe as well. Otherwise, when you start hitting the 20s, you're going to run out of breath. And every number of monosyllables, so that's your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, you add the word end behind. Every number of dual syllables, so that's like your 15, 20, 25, 30, skip the word end. This way it keeps your pace regular. You wouldn't compress too fast at the start and then too slow at the end. So that's for compression. Now once you are done with compression, immediately move on to your tube ventilation. For ventilation, you require equipment known as a resuscitation. Later on, you're going to see me use this. This is a training edition. The real one doesn't look like that. I have my own personal resuscitation with me today. So this is what a real one looks like. Okay. See, there's this small little blue thing. This is a one-way valve. Now, this is the important part of the resuscitation, not the plastic. Okay. This one-way valve allows, or rather, you guys should know this, right? So when you blow air in, it doesn't come back out because it's one way. So that's what this does. Now, why do we need to apply this as well? Because sometimes when you perform compressions, the casualty will start vomiting. Okay, and it's not very nice to put your mouth on the casualty's mouth with vomit inside or blood, right? And especially if this is just a random stranger, would you want to put your mouth on a casualty? You don't know how many days he hasn't brushed his or her teeth. Do not know whether they ate durian before this or not. So it's not very pleasant. So most people will not. Now that piece of plastic is not cheap. Can anyone guess how much it is? It's a one-time use only. Use it, you have to throw it away. Anyone? Any guesses? 3, 10?
$10.
10 is roughly correct. Okay, it's between $8 to $10 per piece. And once you use it, you have to throw it away. And actually it goes up all the way to about $38 each. Okay, so all these equipments are not easily found, it's quite expensive. So most people do not have it. Now if you do not have it, a lot of people have the tendency to use this as an excuse to not perform CPR completely. That's false. Never ever do that. What you can do is known as a compression only CPR, whereby you only compress, you do not ventilate at all. Just keep compressing 30 after 30 after 30 until the ambulance arrives. That's perfectly good as well. But if you want to increase the chance even by that slight percentage, by all means go ahead with ventilation in case it's like a loved ones and you know their medical history, completely comfortable doing mouth to mouth without any protection, by all means go ahead. But if you do have a resuscitation, I always recommend that you use it. So what you do is, if you do have a resuscitation, just take it, the component with the one-way valve, just place it into the casualty's mouth. Okay, just read the instructions on the resuscitation and you'll see how it actually works. Place it over, and next you want to perform a head tilt chin lift maneuver. Okay, so 4 fingers on the forehead, 2 fingers at the side of the jaw, tilt the head upwards. Take a thumb and index finger, pinch the nose shut. You're not trying to provide yourself with free air conditioning, so you want air to go into the lungs, not come out through the nose. So pinch the nose shut, open your mouth wide. Although this is known as the kiss of life, you're not trying to kiss the casualty. Do not pucker your lips up like this. Not right. Open it wide like O shape like this. Using your lips, rest outside of the casualty's mouth, completely touching it to form a seal so that air doesn't escape through the side of your mouth. How much air to ventilate? 400 to 600 ml of air. That's roughly 1 lungful. So take a deep breath, exhale everything you have through your mouth into the casualty until you see chest rise. When that chest rise indicates the air has entered the lungs, release the grip on the nose, come back up, allow air to escape and repeat the process once more. So it's going to look something like this. So pay attention to the chest. That's 1. That's 2. So you'll see the chest rise. Okay? Same reaction you get in a real life casualty. Now once you've done your 2 ventilation, immediately come back to your compression again. CPR is cycles of 30 compression followed by 2 ventilation, repeated one after another until 3 scenarios happen. 1, if someone who's more qualified than you arrive on scene. Who are they? So that could be like lifeguards, off-duty doctors or nurses, or our paramedics and EMTs. If they arrive on scene, hand it over to them because we've been trained, we've utilized this skill many times before. We are much better at providing CPR than you'll be able to, and in that case, we might be able to increase the chance of survival even further. So hand it over to us. So that's the first scenario. Second scenario is when obviously when the casualty recovers, you can stop. Okay. Earlier on, I forgot to mention when you perform your compressions. Once you start your first compression, you do not stop until you finish your 30th compression. Now that being said, if I was in my compression, I'm at my 15th compression, the person opens his eyes and say, "Hey, do I say sorry sir, lie down 15 more to go?" Do you do that?
No.
No, right? Okay, remember once you get any signs of consciousness, immediately stop. The moment you hit the casualty again with 1 compression, they're gonna go unconscious again. Okay, so make sure you stop immediately. Now the last scenario will be when the AED machine arrives. For the AD machine, I'm going to talk so much about it right now. That's the end of CPR. Do you guys have any questions for me? No? Then I have one question for you. If the casualty is pregnant, can I initiate CPR? Who says yes? Show of hands. Okay. Okay. Who says no? Who says don't care? Or call 995, leave it be, wait for ambulance to arrive. Now the answer is actually yes, you initiate CPR. Okay, if you do not save the mom, the chance of the infant being born is 0. So save the mom's life first. And you're compressing on the chest, not on the womb. So it's perfectly safe for the child. Okay, carry on with your compression. Even if they have gone through surgery that you know before, like they have like different machines installed into their chest, go ahead, perform your CPR. Okay, if you do not perform CPR on a casualty, the chance of him surviving, 0. If you perform CPR, there's at least a little bit of chance of him surviving. If not, that's it for CPR. Thank you guys so much for your attention. My name is Jared. I hope you have a nice day.